this is Daniela Mera from Centrico Digital, a results-driven digital marketing agency that specializes in performance marketing and marketing automation. So today I want to talk to you about how to clean up your Pardot account. If you're familiar with Pardot or your organization uses Pardot, you may be aware of the powerful tool that Pardot is and the different features it has in order to help you with your lead generation and your lead nurturing process. However, you may also be aware that managing a Pardot account can become a little overwhelming, especially if you don't have a defined structure behind it. So first of all, I want to talk to you about why should you clean up your Pardot account. The first reason is that Pardot has storage and usage limits. So if you have an administrator role, you can go to admin settings, usage and limits, and you will be able to see all of the available features your Pardot account has, the usage that you have given to them, the limit that they have, and the utilization. So as you can see, most of Pardot features are unlimited. However, there are some really important ones, such as automation rules or engagement programs that have a fairly low limit. So first of all, being aware that there are some tools that have limits, and second of all, knowing how you have used those tools is the first step towards actually being able to clean up your account and knowing what to prioritize when doing it. The second point why you may want to clean up your Pardot account is because there are many people who manage your account. So it is actually really normal that in an organization there are many people and many teams that manage one Pardot account. And this is because organizations normally have many products or they have many objectives, and you have specific teams for each one of these objectives. It will actually be kind of impossible for just a really small group of people to manage it. However, this becomes a problem when the people from a team are not aware of what the people from the other team is doing, or if a person is not aware of what the other person is doing, because of course they could try to manage some campaigns, some prospects towards certain specific goals that they have. However, this doesn't add up to the whole strategy that you may want to have as an organization. And this takes me to the third point, which is you're not getting the results you want. So if you don't actually know what exists in your Pardot account and what your marketing efforts are working towards as a whole, you may not see good results. And you know that Pardot actually has very in-depth reporting tools. However, if you don't interconnect the different things that you have, you won't actually be able to determine the return of invest that you are having with your marketing assets. So knowing everything that exists in your account and how one thing relates to the other one is really important when trying to see the results that these efforts are actually bringing into your organization. So the second point is actually knowing what is in your Pardot account. As I told you, it's really important that you have a clear view of everything that exists. However, you may want to prioritize the ones that have a limit. So these are the actual tools that have a limit in Pardot. You have mailable database, the automation rules, engagement programs, file storage, page actions, SEO keyword monitoring, competitor monitoring, and tracker domains. So you may want to go through these ones first before you go to the other ones, because managing the limits of this is more urgent than actually managing the other one. However, it is important that you know everything that is going on in your account. The third point is actually knowing what you can delete and modify. So this will actually depend on how your Pardot account looks and what is your goal. But some things that we can tell you on how to know what to delete and modify is first, see if the automation tools that you're using are the correct ones. As you know, Pardot has many automation tools. You have automation rules, segmentation rules, you have dynamic lists, you have completion actions, page actions, and each of them have specific objectives. However, if you're not aware of what these are, you can for example, use an automation rule when you could have used a segmentation rule. And the problem with this is that, first of all, you're not using the automation tools in the correct way, so you might not be getting the most of them. And second of all, you're using a space that may be limited, for example, in the automation rules. So actually knowing when you create a rule what is the objective behind it, and being really clear on what each automation tool works for is important when creating something. The second point is seeing if your automation tools or if your assets are still relevant to your marketing efforts. So here you might want to check automation rules that were created for past events, for past webinars, maybe for specific ebooks, maybe an ebook that came out a year or 2 years ago, and that is related now to a campaign in Pardot may not be as relevant now to your prospects. So the third point is knowing if your prospects are still interacting with your automations or assets. So what you can do this is going to the drop-down menu that you have in each automation tool, and you will actually be able to see there if the automation is paused, active, and you have an option to see if it is inactive. So if you click in the inactive option, you will be able to determine it actually turns it if prospects haven't interacted with that automation in the last 2 months. So you may want to check if the tools that are the source and the destination of that specific automation tool are still relevant, if the triggers and the rules are still in line with what you wanted to reach with that specific tool. So that will actually help you determine if you can delete it or if you should modify it. The next point is if your prospects are still matching your automations. You can actually go into each one of the automations and see the last time a prospect matched. The next point is to know, this is specific for custom fields, to see if your custom fields are still necessary or if they have become redundant or obsolete. And the last point is to know if the source and destination assets are correct when you create an automation or an automation tool. So something important to note here is that nothing actually gets deleted in Pardot. If you delete something, it will just chill in your recycle bin until the day that you want to use it again. So don't be afraid to delete things if you no longer see that they serve a specific purpose, because if one day you regret it, you can go to the recycle bin and actually take it out and have it work as it was working. The next point is to know what can be implemented to improve the account. So these are some best practices that we have seen that have worked with some of our clients. The first one is have a coherent scoring and rating model. So you may want to sit with your sales teams for this in order to determine what are the profiles that you're looking for, what are the profiles that you have to nurture most. And this will also make your sales teams work easier. The second point is knowing if your campaigns are aligned with your goals. The third point is saying no to uncategorized. When you create any asset in Pardot, you can categorize it in a folder, and if you don't, it will all go to uncategorized. So in order to find things more easily, it is a best practice to always categorize. Sit down with the people that are managing the account and see what folder category works for your organization. Next point is setting a start and finish date in the automation tools that will actually allow you to do it. So, for example, the engagement program can let you put a start and finish date, and this is really beneficial when you know when your prospects can stop that engagement program or when that is not going to be relevant anymore for you. The next point is implementing naming conventions to clearly know what you're looking for. If you have worked in Pardot, you know that looking for things is not so friendly. So again, sitting with the people that manage your account and knowing what works best for your organization. Maybe it's the date, maybe it's the fiscal year, and then you have the specific product, and then you actually have what is the asset that you're creating and the name of the asset. That is establishing those things is going to really help you once you want to get organized with your account. The next point is making periodical reviews. So don't wait 2 years or until you have no space left in some of the tools in order to go and check what's happening in your account. You should, as a best practice, try to do this quarterly in order to manage everything as it comes. Next point is training new and existing employees on how your organization's Pardot account is managed. So if everyone knows what you're doing and everyone is on the same page on managing the Pardot account, it's actually going to be much more easier managing it and maintaining it clean for when new people enter. You may want to do some trainings with the team and explain all of the efforts that you have been doing to keeping the account clean. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to contact us, don't hesitate to write us to hola@centricodigital.com or check our webpage www.centricodigital.com if you want to learn more about us and how we can help you reach your marketing goals.